Alright, how's everyone doing?
Good.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kenny Sang. I am one of the chairpersons for the Association for Change and Transformation, more commonly known as ACT. Most of you in the room will probably know us from doing the diversity skit from orientation, but as you can see by the performance we're about to put on, we do a lot more throughout the year. All the flyers that you have on your seat detail all the programs that we do throughout the year. And if you have any more specific questions about that, you can ask any of us at the end of the performance. We'll all stick around. I just want everyone to know that the Touch of Diversity performance from orientation started in 2001, and in the 12 years since has been the #1 rated workshop of the orientation program for the past 12 years, consistently and by a landslide over any other workshop in orientation. 12 years. And this that you're about to see is a continuation of that legacy. I also want you to know that ACT has extended its reach beyond Villanova's campus, and in the last year presented twice at national conferences. In May at the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity in American Higher Education, a workshop on social allyship and agency, and in December at the National Association for Multicultural Education in Philadelphia, where we actually presented our model for Theater for Social Change to a group of education professionals. And this coming May, we will make our second appearance at the National Conference for Race and Ethnicity in New Orleans, doing our workshop on social allyship and agency once again. So that's 3 national conferences that ACT has been to, on top of a strong legacy of performance for social change. So to introduce what we're going to be seeing today, I'm going to hand it over to my fellow board members, Israel Hernandez and Lindsay Michael.
Alright, first thing we need to establish is what a microaggression is. By Dr. Maurice Hall, a microaggression is something you guys really need to pay close attention to, because this is what the whole event will be about. Is a statement or an action with undertones targeted towards members of a particular social identity that is caused by an accumulation of social scripts to which the speaker is unaware. I'll repeat that again. A statement or action with undertones targeted towards members of a particular social identity that is caused by an accumulation of social scripts to which the speaker is unaware. If you don't understand what that means, basically it's if you do something racist, it's very subtle, and you might not realize you're doing something racist, so just be careful. That's what basically trying to get at. Or powerful.
Ability.
Right, in essence.
It could be any of the isms that have to do with social categories. Pretty much in language or in conversations, you know, a lot of times people will be like, that's so gay. You know, that could be considered as a microaggression. Anything that you may think that you're not being overtly fill in the blank, but in reality it does have history and roots and oppression, and that's what we're here to sort of shed light on today.
Which leads to the next thing. The 3 things. It's going to be broken into 3 parts. First thing is going to be performance. Second, they're going to be questions. And then third, we will be broken into facilitation groups. I think you each have numbers. Those numbers will represent the groups, but we'll talk about that much later once the performance and everything else is over with. There are 3 things that are tips that I suggest you guys do. 1, pay really close attention to the actors. Make sure that you realize you know what they're doing, their body movements, their gestures, just things like that. The second thing, just listen really closely to what they say and what is not said, because that's going to come into really, really important and to be very crucial for the thing. And lastly, just, I guess, enjoy the show. And then I'm going to leave Lindsay, I'm going to let Lindsay explain a little bit about what exactly we're going to get into.
So the performance you all are going to see today is you're entering into the end of an interview process for a campus group where the executive board will be evaluating the last few candidates for a spot. Although this group is not indicative of any specific campus group, the interactions you're about to witness are all based on actual situations that have taken place at Villanova. Just like the Touch of Diversity, we're not explicitly saying, you know, names or groups, but we gather all of our information and we base it on stories of students that come to us in their classrooms, in their groups on campus, in their groups of friends, and we, you know, use it for our material. So this particular performance you're going to see today is an e-board delivery. So enjoy.
Okay, was that the last one? Please God, tell me that's the last one.
That was Ashley, right? think it's the last one. I mean, if it's not, whoever comes in the store, nicked.
Okay, before we get down to evaluations, what are you doing for dinner? Because
Chipotle. No, hands down.
I went with a spit.
the spit.
What are you?
I don't want to use Chipotle money. I use the spit. I go meal plan.
Okay, use real money if you want. So you let him on the executive board if he wants to go to the spit.
Okay.
So Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Fine.
I
Chipotle.
need to go back to my apartment and grab a wallet.
Alright, cool, I got your keys.
Girl, Ashley.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought she was cute. She was
Yeah, she was.
super bubbly.
She was so cute.
She had fat ass.
Yeah, she was cute, but we're not looking for company.
No.
I mean, she wasn't.
We're not, I mean, we're
I
not-
didn't
no.
like her at all, no.
Okay.
I mean, I would totally vote for her.
Do we really need to vote?
Or she would vote for her.
Okay, we'll vote. All in favor of keeping Ashley? Ashley's gone. Okay, so there's one spot left. Not the guy before Ashley, but the guy before that guy and then the guy before that guy. So the two people before the guy before Ashley.
So Nick and
Marquise.
Marquise. Do you remember?
Okay.
No. So we'll just go with Marquise, right?
Such an ass again.
I know, but
All right. Anyway, I think we should go with him.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think he was great.
Nick, right? I thought we were on Nick. Yeah, he was pretty solid for him.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Okay.
hold on, let me-
Okay, let's do this. 20, 25 seconds, give me details. Why do you want him? Why don't you want Marquise, Monkey, and convince him? Go.
Okay, all right, I'll go first. Nick, I mean, no brainer, right? Kid's legacy, he bleeds blue and white. I'm pretty sure he's got a Bobcat at home. I mean, he's Villanova through and through. And Marquise just is not. I mean, I didn't see anything from Marquise that just like showed Villanova to me, you know?
Okay.
He had some good points. Yeah, Nick is Villanova, whatever. But I feel like, in essence, Nick was a better candidate because he was a stronger person. He had more charisma, and Marquis is a little younger. Marquis, and maybe he'll grow into himself as we grow.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. You can grow. If you look at their resumes,
Oh,
they,
Sam,
I know, but like,
can I go real quick since we're going down the line?
we were going down the line.
I mean, I thought it kind of went, but I mean,
Okay.
He-
But-
Go ahead.
I'll
I
just
didn't
go.
know either, but okay.
so, like I said, I think Marquis, I mean, I think he could be a face of Villanova, because what is Villanova? Like, I think we need to show that there's more than one face of Villanova, and he'd be a great perspective, great insight for some of the not white students. I mean, we need to give minorities on campus a voice.
so
If we don't do
back
it,
to-
no one
back to
else
the
does.
resumes.
Okay.
Back to the resumes.
If you look at them on paper, they're pretty much the same. We can agree.
Yeah.
GPAs are good,
Yeah.
heavily involved, of course. Marquise is not going to damage our reputation. He's not going to do poorly. It's not like he's unqualified. Okay? And with the senior class leaving, we lost some of the more diverse spots, right? So we have to fill those spots.
I mean, why though? I mean, it's not like a culture society.
I mean, wait,
You don't
Perspective.
you don't think that like
okay.
never
What we
mind,
need to,
never mind.
we don't have to take all of them, right? We just need to fill the spots that were already there. Okay? When the admission, when the administration comes to us, they come to me, right?
Yeah.
And they tell me, you need to be more receptive to the, what did they say, the underrepresented groups, right? We cannot afford to be the palest group on campus anymore. So Marquise is not bad. Right. And think about it, when the kids from West Philly high schools come in, right?
Where is that?
Right. We put him on the list.
Brett can be doing more important things, and as he said, right, you said that he will grow, right? And so we can use that, he'll be able to connect, he'll be able to grow, and he'll be able to, build up that charisma.
It's just a waste of time though. We already have like Nick is already ready to do that all. Why do we need to train someone to do this?
No, because Marquis could really connect with those families, make them feel comfortable here. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, Brett?
Sky,
No.
you obviously don't understand what we're talking about, so just like let us continue our conversation.
You don't understand what we're talking about. This is not an issue, this isn't a discussion, this isn't an option, all right? It's a tie, 2-2. It's not a question of whether we want him. Whether we want him or not, we need him. So we're going with Marquise. Marquise, I don't care.
Hey, it's on you.
Yeah, exactly, it's on me.
And at this time, we're going to open the floor to you all, and if anyone has questions for the e-board, please feel free to ask them.
Why is it that you never let her finish speaking, or when she was speaking, you kept laughing? Do you know what she actually said?
Yeah, I mean, she was giving valid points, but there was a little bit, sometimes this happens in meetings where people aren't necessarily on the same page, and she wasn't giving things that were contributing. And so we're not gonna baby someone, we're not, this isn't high school or anything like that, so.
We were just feeling we had it all figured out here. And so we were having our conversation, and she was kind of just throwing stuff in.
That's fine.
But, it happens. So it's a learning experience, yeah, like Sam said.
I have a question for the gentleman in red. Why are you so agitated with their reasons for taking Marquise?
He wasn't agitated.
Well, he just seemed a little agitated.
Well, what was I supposed to? They were choosing Marquis for the wrong reasons, and I'm here for the betterment of our group, not for the betterment of minorities. And I joined this group as Brett. I didn't join this group as a black person named Brett. So
It's fine.
it's
In the back.
bigger than me.
Someone had a question back?
I have a question. Why was it so hard for you to stand up, even though you were asking, why didn't you speak up and
Well, in this situation, what was I supposed to do? If you have any suggestions for me, what should I? No, really, I just don't see what else I could have done in this situation. How do I stand up for myself?
when they all looked at you about his name, the pronunciation of his name, you could have been why y'all looking at me? It could have been a joke, but there could have been a way to show that they were being,
I understand, but we're
Brett's got a great memory, though, So we were just asking him, did you remember what he called himself? We were just trying to figure it out, So.
And he's good friends, I don't think that.
I just reading into it. There were a lot of candidates. I can't remember his name.
We've been here for 5 hours. It's ridiculous. I'm ready to go home, There's just not.
Yes.
So the two guys in the sandwich, yeah. Why did it pass that's just what happens sometimes in meetings with what's-her-name, as opposed to Brett, when, we got Brett to do that. So where is the voice of the person on the other end? Because I didn't buy your explanation, that just happens, and I'm just not happy with that person over there who is nameless to me because somehow or another she's been defaced, and you guys just sort of did that.
Sometimes that happens in meetings, so it's not like every meeting like this.
Does that make it right, sir?
Right or not is the way it is, right? You have to be productive.
It just happens, and Sky just wasn't really helping out with our conversation.
There's conversations where sometimes Brett isn't contributing as much. He's a little bit more to the board, right?
Okay, I'll be quiet because there are about 150 other people here, but no, sir, that's not an answer. That's just business as usual. So get yourself a leader, y'all.
This question is for Sky. Why do you continue to serve on a board where your opinions aren't respected?
I definitely have opinions, and I try to get them out there. It's not, I don't always feel so shut out, but, today it was definitely hard for me to get any of my opinions in.
Yeah, it's not just, we don't just cut her out every time, it's just today. today just ended up being one of those times where she just wasn't contributing. Like, there are a bunch of times where I'm screaming over Brett, but he's just not talking about anything either.
Did you ever think that not everyone can like afford to go out to dinner, and in which case the spit would have been a good option?
I mean, are you just saying anything black? But who's raising now? Yeah.
No, I'm saying that's because he said he doesn't want to spend money on Chipotle, and that's
I
legitimate.
mean, we don't go out every time, but I mean, as he said, we've been interviewing for hours. Do I really want to go?
Really want Chipotle.
No, but each one has to take the group's financial status into account.
Yeah, the group is fine. Yeah, we're good.
Brett can afford Chipotle.
Yes.
Yeah, so Brett, if you can afford Chipotle.
If Brett, okay, he is not 6, okay? If he can't afford Chipotle, and Chipotle is what, like $7? If he can't afford it, he'll say something.
He just said he didn't want it. All he said was he didn't want to spend it, not that he couldn't.
But why did that mean that his opinion had to be dismissed?
His opinion was dismissed. If he could not afford it, then he would have said that, and then he would have come up with something else. But that's not what he said.
But you
See, I was
guys don't
listening
want
to
to
him.
spit, right?
I don't want to spit because the spit tastes like garbage, so I suggested Chipotle. And if he couldn't have afforded that, he would have said, guys, I know you don't need that, couldn't afford that. And then,
But that wouldn't have been a good answer either, right?
well, then it would have figured out from there.
But because he didn't want to spend money, he wanted to save for something else, maybe he saved it so bigger that wasn't okay with you guys?
Am I responsible for making sure that he's saving his money the way that he
Are
wants
you
to save it?
responsible for being nice to other people and listening to what they want
I
to
was
say?
being nice. You're getting at me because you weren't listening to him.
No, I was.
In the end, guys, like, I am fine with going to the spit. I mean, I'm going to Chipotle. I'm fine with going to Chipotle to spit. You know, I get food in my stomach. But you know, like I get to go with my friends. You know, it's a group environment, and I'm new to the group, so like, I'm new to the keyboard.
And I would
so,
pay for you if all of a sudden like you couldn't do it or whatever. That's fine. Over here.
How can you say that these people are your friends that are making you feel uncomfortable in an environment where you're supposed to be comfortable and sharing your thoughts together?
who's this dude?
Brett, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Brett.
Okay, could have been this guy. But Repite, por
To me,
favor.
friends don't do that.
Huh?
To me, friends don't do that.
Yeah, but like in this, like with me and Brian, you know, we've been friends for about two years now,
2 years,
I guess, and that's just like the way our friendship works.
Dynamic.
You know,
Friends tease each other.
yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for Brian, he wouldn't have gotten involved. He wouldn't have gotten involved.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm black, he's a little chubby, you know.
alright. Maybe we should go to Chipotle then.
You have to run to Chipotle. Yeah.
I have a question for Brett.
That's getting all of it.
You said that you know you were chosen as Brett as a black community. How do you know that?
He wasn't. Period.
Maybe I was.
We picked him because, one, he's our friend and we know how good he is at what he's doing, and two, he was the best candidate out there.
And if he wasn't qualified for the executive board,
He wouldn't be
he wouldn't be there. Marquise, if he wasn't qualified, he wouldn't be in the conversation. And like Brett said himself, if Marquise grows and builds with that charisma, anybody has the opportunity to rise up to leadership positions.
I think she was addressing the question to Brett though, so why don't you let him answer?
You can answer.
I think you answered.
Yes.
This question is for you, Sam. If somebody who's African American, when you were qualifying for the position you have now, if somebody who's African American was just as qualified as you were, do you think they should have been given the position over you for the same reasons you chose Marquis over Nick?
Why wouldn't he be in charge of that position?
Yeah, but if the people who were in charge of making that decision, do you think they should have chosen that other person over you because of the same reasons you chose Marquis over Nick?
I mean, if we needed to go the person position.
So I'm sure I'm not the only one making this observation, but the way men are kind of dominating the conversation, both now and during the deliberation. And I just want to hear, I'm sorry, I don't know your guys' names, from you guys on how you're feeling right now. Sky and Brett? And Brett. Just them, please. No, Brian or Sam.
He's a boy though.
I said that white men were dominating, so I'd like to hear from the non-white men up there. Thank you. Just how you're feeling. Only them, please. Thanks.
I guess I'm feeling like, all right. You know, I'm hungry. I guess I'm just like happy to. This is one of my first like deliberations over who gets to join our group next. So I'm really trying to sit back and observe so that I'm younger, you know, so than they are. So I'm trying to observe and learn the ropes and all of that so that I can one day maybe, you know, have a president spot, vice president spot.
Skylar? I'm definitely frustrated. I am not the new person on the board. I definitely have valid opinions, but, you know, I feel like I don't get listened to a lot. I feel like I keep saying the same things and no one kind of listens to me. So I'm frustrated because I'm obviously qualified to be here. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question for Sky and Tyler. If you had a chance to say something to Sam in terms of how you were feeling, what would you say?
I mean, I just wish I wouldn't be getting cut off so much. Because I understand he's the president and there are responsibilities that come for it, but, you know, like I keep saying, I have valid points. I've earned my position here. I definitely should be heard.
And just to follow up, I have a question for Sam.
Yeah.
Who's clearly not paying attention. How would you feel if you weren't in the president's spot and the president kept cutting you off and wouldn't pay attention to you whenever you started fixing?
I was in those spots, if I didn't have anything productive to say and I was talking, people would say, okay, well, be quiet.
But what if what you thought you were saying was productive?
Well, that's how you learn. Like, a lot of times when you think that something you're saying might be contributing to the conversation, but you don't have the experience to recognize that it's not. And that's how, you know, when I was in their positions, I learned that's how I got
How do you know
right.
if you're not even listening to her?
What?
How do you know they're not productive if you're not even listening?
I was listening. Did she not have her 20 seconds?
No, you didn't give it to her.
I'm curious,
She
Sam,
had it.
I'm curious, you call yourself a leader of this group, and while the other members are speaking, you're, instead of directing your attention to them, thinking about something outside the group. I don't know how you're expecting everyone else in your group to be focused while you're...
I'm drafting an email to the people who are accepted.
And they matter more than the group members that you're supposed to be deliberating with right now?
When we are going over the same thing over and over and over, I can multitask.
It's the same thing because you're the one who's voicing your own opinion at the same time over and over, not allowing others to bring in other points.
I think part of the misunderstanding, and I think this is why we're blowing things out of proportion, this wasn't a debate. We needed to fill the position. So I was more than happy to hear what they had to say. It's valuable to get practice evaluating interviews and evaluating applications. But at the end of the day, that's what needed to happen.
Sky, what stops you from saying anything during the discussion, like standing up for yourself?
I mean, I kept trying to get my point across, but at some point, you know, it is a meeting. We can't all be kind of yelling all over each other. I guess I was just kind of waiting for my moment to kind of jump in.
Skylar, how did it feel hearing your peers objectify the only female, I guess, person?
I mean, I definitely didn't like it because, like I said, I thought she was cute, bubbly. I thought she would have been a great representation for our group, you know, and we're here, you know, I wasn't saying any certain qualities about, you know, Nick or Marquis, but obviously they're going off different standards.
She also doesn't qualify. Yes.
Why is it that when you mentioned Marquis and the reasons for taking him, you said that he would be able to, I guess, represent or lead a group of West Philadelphia students, like he couldn't relate to any other group that he was leading? Why is that?
Wait, so you're adding in that part. That's not what I said, right? You know, when you first meet people, you have a first impression, and you try and find ways to relate to them, right? So relate with them. So in strategy, Brett used to do those, and he was able to more quickly create a connection with people who look like him than someone else.
Why is that?
Because that's how our brains work. You make connections with people. It's not that you're judging them, it's not that you're making deterministic statements, but that's how you make connections, right?
So
when
would
you only
Brett
have a
be
little
able
bit of
to
time,
lead a group of white students?
He would be, of course.
He's very good
Remember,
at
he said,
what he does.
not only is Brett really good at it, but Brett mentioned, he specifically said that Marquis would have, you know, he sees potential for growth in Marquis with charisma. In the blue.
So why is it that Brett is qualified to lead both black communities and white communities, but a white person would be qualified to lead a black community? What is it about Brett that makes him, like, the better option to lead, West Philly people, but it's also qualified for white, but a white person would be able to connect with the West Philly community?
There's some people that dress like this. Everybody see? And there's some people who dress like Ace Hood, Meek Mill. They can't assimilate into the group that we want, the ideas that we
Brett
want.
knows who Ace Hood and Meek Mill are.
Okay, but what, they're ghetto. They're ghetto.
But you're saying like you dress like this so you can lead white groups or whatever, but you also dress like that, so why would the hood rats be able to connect with you? I don't understand.
The hood rats. She said that. I didn't say that.
I added the hood rats.
Yes.
I have a question for you, Sam. Why were you so concerned about what the administration thought of your choice than what your other group members thought about your choice and how you could collaborate together?
Because at the end of the day, there's limitations in any organization, whether it's in college, in high school, in your workplace, whatever it is, there's limitations that you're remembered by the people above you. Everybody's got a boss, right? So we can't do it.
Is a diversity position only available to non-white males?
It's not like official diversity position, right? It's just something that we sort of have in the background.
This is a question for Brett. So do you think that you are better than a person who dresses like Ace Hood? Because of the way you dress.
Tables are turned.
Not better, but people better fit in
Into what?
to white society. People like me don't run the world. People like Sam run the world. Like you, and Brian.
I feel like I run the world.
But
Can you let him finish?
Yeah, please, Sam.
and damn, I lost my train of thought. But you just have better for different situations. If I was in their hood, I would probably be looked at like a piece of meat, and I would probably not be allowed. So, it is what it is. Make what you make.
Yes. Yes.
This is a question for Brett. Sitting at the table with your associates and hearing everything that they're saying, how do you think they view you, and how do you not think that you represent the entire population of African Americans?
Okay, well, first off, we also have to realize there are 4 people up here, so I'm 25%, and Villanova doesn't actually have more than 25% diversity, so this isn't like a bad ratio, if you understand, but can you repeat the first part of your question?
I want to answer the second. Do you think that you do not represent black people?
He wants to know if you are representing the black community because you're up here.
In their eyes.
In their eyes?
In their eyes. Do you think
I don't try to say that.
We think that you speak for the whole black community, which is the case.
I like to hope not, because these are my genuine
But based on
best
how
friends.
they speak and things they say, do you think you say you hope not, but do you think that's what they do?
That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for.
Why can't we all just get along? I know.
This is more like a statement for Brett and Red. I understand what you're saying with the you wearing what you wear because of the situation that you're in. And I completely understand that, because now when they're saying the representative for black people, but some black people who you may be representing believe that. And I feel like some people don't understand that though a lot of people that are at a higher positions we don't represent everybody, but some people quote unquote beneath you believe that you are represented, like in your community.
Okay.
It was a statement.
If the administration wasn't on your case about having more diversity, who would you choose?
But they are.
Right, but if
It's not.
Okay.
There is no.
We could engage in hypotheticals for another 3 hours. If a rock fell from the building, would I think? If I was surprised, I had to and I want to get the conversation.
What did you mean by the tables were turned when you said that comment to Brian, when Taylor asked Brett a question?
I'm sorry, what?
About why Brett thought he was better than Asa.
Well, because for once, I wasn't being directed at me. Yes.
I just have a question for Sky. Did it bother you at all when they talked about, someone asked a similar question, but when they talked about like the girl's body versus like her qualifications, like when she was being interviewed, did that bother you at all?
Oh yeah, definitely, because obviously I didn't talk about that about Nick or Marky. I did not touch on any of that, and they
Because
didn't.
they were qualified.
Yeah, it didn't matter though, because the girl just was not qualified.
Like, if Nick was a dumbass,
I was surprised she
I would have made fun of
Questions
him
for
being a
Sky.
dumbass.
Yeah, she just wasn't worth.
But even if they're not qualified, even if they legitimately were not qualified, is it still appropriate to talk about their body in an interview that's not about body?
Are you saying that you've never made
This
an off-the-cuff
interview is
joke
about
like
body
that?
though, like in the
I mean, a lot of it has to do with how we present ourselves out there, and so, yeah.
So
you
the
take
size of her ass has to deal with if you're gonna let her in or not?
No. Okay, pause. Hold up. All right. She was not qualified on paper. All right.
What's
Wait.
the size of her body?
Do you want to let me finish?
No.
She was not qualified. Not qualified on paper. All right. And in the same way that in any group of friends, you're gonna make jokes, right? If Nick wasn't qualified, I would have made fun of him for his really ugly shoes. If Marquise wasn't qualified, I would have made fun of him for another. You teach. You have to jest. We're fellow time.
What's up?
This question is for Sky. Sky only. If you guys get that. When they were talking about diversity, why is it that you looked at Brett instead of saying that women are a part of diversity as well?
I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was just what you think of minorities. You know, everyone calls it Vanilla Nova, and I guess I expected Brett, as a black male, to kind of speak up more, because we have one position, and I mean, obviously I think Marquis is more qualified, and it's up to us to get him in this group, and then he can have more of a voice on campus.
And Brett, how do you feel about her response? What'd you roll your eyes?
I wasn't really listening.
All right. Well, one last question.
Yeah,
last question.
Yeah, one right.
All right.
Okay. Brett, you said earlier that you, or something along the lines of assimilation, and I don't know if that was referring to Villanova, but if it is, do you feel like you have to be someone else and put on a mask to fit in here, or like to be not your true self?
I voted question.
It kind of.
I'm sorry.
I say sometimes you have to be able to be a chameleon and change where you are. You go someplace. You don't. If you go to the court, you're not dressing the way you go to class. You don't dress the way you go to the gym. So you have to really realize where you are, what's going to help you succeed and better yourself. So sometimes I do feel as if maybe I wouldn't dress the same, but it is what it is.
Thank you for the questions. Much appreciated.
Thank you.